All right, so let's finish this up. I've got my color holds up here. You can see how all of it's quite different. So I have my black line work, then on top of it I have my color holds. All my little special effects. And I have my duotone coloring. The darks, the soft edged, or the hard edge lights, soft edge lights. Then I have the flat color underneath it all. And the one thing that's bugging me is just how bright the inside of these are. And that's in that duotone light. So I'm going to unlock that layer and softly erase those out a little bit, these little details. Because it was just a little too saturated, a little too bright. And if I wanted to, I could also use what's called the sponge tool, which I don't know if we've used before. It's under Dodge and Burn in Essentials, and we want to desaturate. And that will take some of the color out, just make it more grayscale, basically. And that's a great way with coloring when colors just feel too intense in a layer. All right. So I have it, and I like it, and it's working well now on gray. Let's see how it looks on white. Looks good on white. Let's add another background color. Edit, fill with black, 100% black. Now this shows me the full potential of the spot illustration. And if I decide that on black the color holds aren't showing enough, then I might add something to the actual black line work layer. Or maybe to the color holds layer. But in effects, I can put a slight stroke around it. And I want to do it on the outside. This is in layer styles. And you can see how that works. And then I can make it actually pretty thick if I want to. I like to think of sticker design, and stickers always have kind of a white rim around them. And then if I don't like it on the inside of the line work, which in this case I don't, I make a duplicate of that. I turn off the stroke on my regular color holds layer, and I move the other one down underneath all my coloring layers, but above my backgrounds. So this is what's called an offset, so that it helps it look good even on dark backgrounds. And I want to help that work with my color holds as well, and it does. Good. All right, so this looks pretty good to me. The only digital coloring technique I didn't show you is full spectrum color, but we'll get into that maybe with the poster, with some other stuff. If there's little things you see that you want to fix, you can see what layers they're in and mess with that. But often I'll just go on to one of my color hold layers, or basically my duotone dark layer, whatever is most opaque, and I'll just paint right onto that, and so that I know it's under the line work. And I'll do these little spot checks. Remember, it does not need to be perfect. And you can steal your color just by holding down Option. We're not going for perfection here. We're going for something that's yours. Something unique to your interest. Okay. So, if I like it, first I save it as a Photoshop file. I'm going to put it to the desktop as a PSD file just to make sure. Now, to submit it, I want to submit the vector line work and the color, but I want to submit it as a PNG. So the only things I turn off are my background layers, and then I save it as a PNG with that same title to the desktop. and then it will be a free floating sticker. That's the same way you would send it up to a site like Redbubble to make t-shirts, and I'll show you that. Then once that's saved, PNGs can take a little while in Photoshop. It's a complicated compression algorithm. So that's my own PSD to work with. Then I want to turn off my color layers. So I just have my line work, my clean vector black line work. And I am going to go ahead and unlock that and add a stroke to it, a white stroke on the outside, the same size that I used, so that if it shows on even a black background, it's visible. But this is more likely how it will look. And that's just so I can see your clean vector line work on any background. And of course on white, it will just be your clean black lines. Maybe I'll make that stroke a little bit smaller. Let's make it 10. Nice round number. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to turn off all the backgrounds, and I'm going to save that as a PNG. But instead of being full color, this is going to be my line work. It's vector line work. Those are the two components I'm looking for in addition to your sketch. And I saved that as a PNG, so that's free floating. Then all I need is my sketch. And it can be a refined sketch. It can be right out of a screen grab of your sketchbook. But that's what I want. And I might actually post both, because I have my kind of evolution sketch. So let me upload those and show you how that works. It should be sketch first, then line work, then full color PNG. These three. If you want to add more sketches, you can. They go up to PhotoBucket. You'll load yours to the Assignment 7 folder for Digital 1. I'm going to load mine to the Instructor Demonstrations folder for Digital 1. And remember to save as a PNG and do the offsets. Now, if you go to your links page, you'll see Redbubble. And while I'm waiting for this library to work, PhotoBucket's being a little difficult today. I can open up Redbubble, and you can start a new account if you like. I'm going to sign into my existing account. It's free. You can sign in with your Facebook if you like. And I'm going to add a new artwork just to show you the options. So if you have a nice finished PNG full color, you can just drag and drop it in. I'm going to call it Nikomon. Nikomon. Is pokey-eyed a word? It's NLC's pokey-eyed mascot, Nico the Nighthawk. I don't like pokey-eyed. Yeah, redesigned as a Pokemon. Tags, Nico, NLC. You don't need that many. I think it wants you to put something in. Pokemon. And then it is design and illustration and digital art. I'll put it in my stickers and my t-shirts. But I'm actually going to say only me, and it's only for me to see right now. That's why I like Redbubble, is you don't need to show everything to the public. And it is immature content for sure. Okay. So it's processing that, and then I'll be able to show you what that does. Okay, so now I go to Digital Art 1, I go to Assignment 7, Spot Illustration Assignment, Instructor Demonstration. You'll just go right to Assignment 7. And I'm going to upload those 3 files and label them correctly. And then we'll be ready to go. And there's lots of additional effects and things we could do with spot illustrations that we'll get into as we turn them into a poster. But for right now, this is what we want. So we label them. I'll go ahead and label them the way I want you to. FA16, your first name, and then 1 for your sketch. For your line work, you see how it's floating on a gray background, very nice. FA16, your name, and 2, just keep it simple, for your vector line work for your spot illustration. Then FA16, your name, and 3 for your finished coloring, or your in-process coloring for your illustration. And that's what we're looking for. And then once they're up on Redbubble, this is something you might want to do later. Come on. You can show how the product you think looks best with it, and then you can add a little shot of that. And that's what this is. See some past examples. Or the Redbubble sticker with the t-shirt. Multiple products should you want. All right. Come on. Finish up. And that's all there is to it. So we'll look back at Redbubble in a little bit to see the different product options you have. The whole point of making, here we go, of making something a spot illustration is so that you have flexibility with it. So you can see all these different things that can be made with it, like throw pillows, mugs, various prints. But let's look at the t-shirts. And I can decide kind of what color I think looks good as the background. I think a dark gray would look nice. And that's why we do it as a spot illustration. And I can save this image to the desktop. And I can save this image to the desktop. Or if I don't want it to be a unisex shirt, instead I want it to be a classic shirt. Or a women's fitted scoop shirt with purple. So many options. Then that might be what I say. I have to admit, that actually looks pretty good. So, and you can add those up. That's just kind of a perk to show me that you made a Redbubble account and have added your stuff up. And then you can make it for sale to the public. And you decide how much you want to earn on them. But the kind of minimum amount is like a couple dollars. And then you can always buy it for your own, at your own expense. All right, so if I wanted to upload those, simply a matter of doing that.